Residents of rural Nova Scotia are becoming more concerned with the changes to their water and homes as mink fur farms continue to grow in number and volume. Despite a growing body of scientific studies, the government has done little to assuage these concerns. We interviewed more than 24 families. Only a few agreed to have their interviews broadcast publicly due to fear of stigma and reprisal for speaking out against the fur farm industry. John Horton, a retired pilot and school teacher, was born and raised in western Nova Scotia. He shared with us his views and stories.
I noticed them most of my life, to be honest with you. And I'm going to say somewhere around 10 years ago, I started paying, holy mackerel, look at the size of that operation. The sort of thing you don't really get the information unless you've got an industry contact that way. I guess I was angry. But by this time, I was a retired old dog already, and I had time. I'd get in my car and I'd go driving. And I'd look at, I'd call it the back end of mink farms, and you realize what's coming out of the back end of a mink farm. Then stories came together, and people who knew stuff, well, people who just knew would tell locally, well, there's a place at so-and-so, and they've got a big runoff there, and it's green in that lake. You go and look, and say, sure enough. First thing I thought, I just run the Department of Environment, tell them about it, and they'd fix it. I really thought that was the case. It took a long time to figure out that they weren't going to fix anything. There was a rage to it. The outcome was I just worked harder trying to disclose this stuff and get it out to the public, because it was obvious the mink farmers aren't going to do that. What was hard to swallow was realization our government's not going to get it out to the people either.
John was the first resident to take to the air for a better look at the mink farms. He shares with us his initial reactions to what he saw.
Shock. I just didn't realize the scale of it. And still, I used to fly over that area occasionally, and you'd notice the odd mink farm. But when you go looking for them, they're concentrated in one area pretty heavily. You saw that today. You got 100,000 breeding females, you've got an awful lot of poop coming out of that. And it goes just to little rivers and streams and ditches. If you drive through Hilltown, you can see ditches right alongside of where the kids walk to school. You see that quite often. And people don't think about the health hazard. It's a health hazard. So what? These kids are smart. They know enough not to walk in it. Not great, but it's not a place you want your children to play. I've talked to people who grew up in areas near mink farms and who moved away because they just didn't like living in stink. And then you'll talk to people who do live there, who do it because it's their living. It's not good, it doesn't have to be. It's what we're living with.